Pants for a few days. Well, actually, I think I just put them on yesterday. I'm turning the heat off because it's a bit toasty here and here. And Lady Jerry's promised to come in after the motivation, but she doesn't want to be here for the motivational bit. She doesn't need that. She doesn't need that crap. Um, so say hi to Stephanie for me, Brad. I guess I'm saying hi to her. Sharon, greetings to you. So what happened over the weekend? A friend of mine sent me a picture of the Comedy Works in downtown Denver, Larimer Square, and said that a friend sent it to him, and that friend who lives in Denver was sad. So I was sad. Dave, you're wearing the kooky pants. You've coined them God pants. Well, never taken them off. I love mine also, Dave. I'm glad that you made that purchase. I did see in the group chat that you made the purchase. The link is there for all those who would like to trouser up. Geez, they're not for you. They're pants. So today, Motivational Monday, oh my God, last night was a big windy night here in Los Angeles. Lady Jerry went and slept in the in the other. We've got a house that normally we rent out, but it's not available right now, so we're using it kind of for COVID retreat area. And so Lady Jerry went up there. Oh, you have cataract surgery tomorrow, Brad. All right. Well, so Lady Jerry went to the front house, so we each slept separately last night, which we normally don't do. So that was a bit sad, especially I was thinking this is the longest that I've been home, and every night, except for one or two nights like this where Belinda will go to the other room because I'm snoring or something, or I'll go to the other room because I'm snoring, or she went to the front house last night because she was afraid a tree was going to fall on our house in the wind and kill us. Not really afraid, but she did decide to go to the other house. I don't know what her logic was, because I said, so I think this is irrational. I'm going to stay in the bed, and she still left as if, well, I'm going to get killed and she'll be okay with that. No, Rich, you can't give up today. So I woke up this morning thinking about Don Quixote. And I have to say, during the pandemic last year, I did check out the audiobook of Don Quixote out of the library and try to get into it. Maybe I even checked out the digital book where you have to read words with your eyes. I couldn't get in. It's a bit long. Of course, I knew the story of Don Quixote because Quixotic, I think that's how you say Quixotic. I'm not even sure. Maybe it's Quixotic. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, I had David, you want to give up until it gets warmer? Well, you can go dormant. You can hibernate till it gets warmer. How about that? It's not giving up, but you can take it easy until then. Darren, you're breaking ground for a cabin for yourself in the backyard. Yeah, ideally, my Belinda, Lady Jerry, and I would have separate tiny houses, and our daughter would have her own third tiny house, and we'd be around a communal kitchen. That's I think would be ideal. But then we'd have to fight about whose turn it was to clean the kitchen. But we'd also have kitchens in our tiny houses. I don't know. I haven't. So far, that plan has not taken off to fly. Anyway, I woke up thinking about Don Quixote and this idea that this guy. Okay, so I know you know the story, but it's a guy who's about 50 years old. It's in Spain, or España, as they say in Spain. That's how they call their country there. Silly, because we all know it's Spain. 50-year-old Spanish gentleman. He's been reading all these books about chivalry, and he gets a little bit deluded, and he's going to go out and be a knight, and he's got a sway-backed horse. God, I can't remember the name for there's a vocabulary word that I came across several times for a sway-back horse. So he gets a sway-back horse, and he gets one of these servants to come and be his assistant knight, and he has these crazy adventures. And in the book, which I know because wasn't able to finish it, but I got in far enough. It's a lot more depressing than what we Americans kind of know more. The Man of La Mancha, the Broadway musical version of Don Quixote, which is much a bit more kind of hopeful and triumphant. And that's America for you. And this is what other countries don't really get about us. They think it's sort of silly the way we're optimistic and we believe we're going to triumph, and that believing in yourself and following your dream is important. And that's what Man of La Mancha is, more of that. And the book is more, Don Quixote is sort of embarrassment, and things go wrong and he gets the crap beat out of him. He's like James Rockford, except he never solves the crime. He just gets beat up. And and it's kind of depressing and humiliating. But of course in America we take that story and we turn it into this guy who's idealistic and deluded, but he's pursuing his dream. And in the Man of La Mancha story, which is better, Fun Day Monday, Andrew, good to see you. Bob, you built a tiny house. That sounds nice. Yeah, a lot of tiny house chat out there. Darren, you got a Don Quixote quote, "When life itself seems lunatic, who knows where madness lies?" Yes, Don Quixote's got a lot more going for him than you think. And so I was thinking about the Man of La Mancha, and the songs from that, The Impossible Dream. I've got the lyrics here, which, it's a really, so the musical was written by Americans, and in that story, Cervantes is on trial during the Spanish Inquisition, religious, and he gets thrown in jail, and these thieves steal everything from him in jail. He's got this manuscript, and that's what he's holding on to, and they want that too. And he says, well, look, if I can convince you not to take my manuscript, which I'm going to use in my defense against the Inquisition, let me tell you the story. And so the story he tells then is the play, and the people who are the other prisoners, I guess, play the characters in theory in the Man of La Mancha. And at the end of it, the story, Don Quixote goes to fight these things against all odds for what he believes in. But in the book, he gets his ass kicked, and they take him back to his manor house, and his servants and friends burn all of his chivalrous books to keep him from going out again. But in the movie version, he goes out and he still is deluded and has these adventures. But the woman who he claims to be, not Dulcinea, but it's someone, Adenale, I think is the name of the person in the musical. He's fighting for her, and she doesn't believe him. But then at the end, as he's about to die, she comes back to him, and she sees the value of his dream life, and how, in his mind he's triumphant, and he dies in her arms as he's trying to rise to tell her the story again, and she catches a glimpse of it, and it warms her heart. And the people in Cervantes' prison cell let him keep the manuscript, and he's summoned off to go for his trial for the Spanish Inquisition. And spoiler alert, I doubt that goes well. But anyway, in this musical, Don Quixote sings this to dream the impossible dream. And it's a guy who is delusional. He thinks that windmills are giants, and he thinks he's battling for the value of this woman's honor, who is actually a prostitute. And, he's really ridiculous and absurd. But he sings this song to dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go. He's talking about this is what he stands for. This is what he, in his mind, thinks he's doing. And that is what's important in the American version. It's what he's doing in his mind, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. And I definitely felt like my arms were too weary when I woke up today. But I was thinking about this. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I'll know, if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will be peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. If I do what I believe is right, I know that I'll die with a calm, full heart. And the world will be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to fight the unbeatable foe, to reach the unreachable star. It's a pretty moving song, and there's many versions of it available on Apple Music. I wasn't so crazy about Elvis. I have to say Robert Goulet did a good job, but my favorite, if you're going to go listen to The Impossible Dream on Apple Music. My favorite was the one of the Broadway cast recording. That guy has got a great voice, and I didn't write his name down, but he really belted it out. So anyway, I just thought that that was where I was at today. I was dreaming the impossible dream. It just felt like, holy crap, am I gonna be able to get up today and get out there and fight the unbeatable foe? I mean, in jiu-jitsu, when you first start out, jiu-jitsu, I don't know if you're drinking at home, but I think it's time. In jiu-jitsu, when you first start out, you're on the bottom all the time. You can't get these guys off you because they just know more than you know, and you can't get out from under them. You start out even, and they just pin you down, and you can't get away from them, and they submit you, and it's just over and over. You keep fighting this unbeatable foe, and then over time, you get better, and they teach you ways to counteract what they're doing. But this idea to get up every day and follow that quest, follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far. Holy cow, that is exactly where I'm at with this COVID right now. When are we going to get vaccinated? I can't wait to get vaccinated. I want to get out there. I met a friend for coffee. Nothing's open. You got to meet your friend for coffee, and then you got to drink your coffee in the alley like a hobo, because you're not allowed to socialize or be around anyway. It just feels like, man, every day my arms are too tired. Oh, William Shatner should have done a rendition of that song. I find it hard to believe that William Shatner hasn't done that. Pick. You kept changing clothes for a Zoom call. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to get dressed up for the show maybe tomorrow. Dave, you have the Jim Nabors record. It's interesting that Jim Nabors became famous for singing that Impossible Dream song, and Jim Nabors, he's most famous for playing Gomer Pyle in this TV show. Now, our age is really showing if you can remember this, but Gomer Pyle was this goofy Marine, and he had this tough Sergeant Carter who was always on it. He'd always sort of win, but he was kind of like Ted Lasso in a way. Gomer Pyle, golly, Sergeant. He was just so goofy on that show, but he could belt it out and sing this Impossible Dream song. He used to do it on talk shows all over the place, and people would be so amazed. And the interesting thing about Jim Nabors, in the light of dreaming the impossible dream, Jim Nabors lived, I think, most of his life in this secret. He was a gay man, and he was a real showbiz success with Gomer Pyle, and also he had this beautiful singing voice, which those two contrasted each other. And he was beloved, and I'm sure his friends and everybody who knew him in show business knew that he was gay. But to have to keep that secret, just to have to the unrightable wrong. Yeah, I'm getting a little weepy. Anyway, so that's your Motivational Monday. That's your the Impossible Dream, Man of La Mancha, and there's several versions of Man of La Mancha that you can watch. I think there's one with Peter O'Toole that's available, and God, I love Peter O'Toole. That's available on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it as a freebie. And I don't know if Peter O'Toole is going to sing in that, but let's hope so. Not since Clint Eastwood sang in Paint Your Wagon, which would be after Peter O'Toole singing in The Man of La Mancha. It ran for 6 years on Broadway, or it was on stage in New York City for 6 years. It went to London after. We had it first, and then it went to London. Anyway, so there you go. Keith, everything's still open there in Florida. Well, congratulations. Dave, you're out kayaking. That's great. Yes, I think he was also Goober in the Andy Griffith Show. Dave, you're right. Jim Nabors. So, Don, I'm not sure what books you're going to read, but I'm just going up to see. Anyway, I can't keep track of that. But yeah, so there you go. So that's your motivation. Lady Jerry is here, as you can see. Flavia, you're here in time for Lady Jerry. You missed the Don Quixote to Dream the Impossible Dream motivation for today, but that's available online at the beginning of the show.
Oh, to dream the impossible dream. That must have been sweet.
It is. Well, it's a great song. You know, this Don Quixote, I don't want to re-explain it to you, but I woke up thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got it there.
These are the lyrics, which you can kind of look over later on.
Okay, because I need some motivation now. I've been... what have I been doing?
You've been working on your environmental chit-chat, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I was on It's the Planet Stupid this morning talking about the list of priorities on the White House website that got put up right after the inauguration, and they're pretty exciting because I think I told you this the other day, you know, climate change. If we didn't have a pandemic, climate change would be number one. So that is huge for me and for you guys too, because we have someone in the White House who really gets it, and he's put together this A-team. Yeah, this is my.
That's your New Zealand possum hat.
Yeah, that's my possum, Davy Crockett.
This is what the New Zealand possums look like. This.
Yeah, this
they
is their
have
tails.
That weird ratty face.
Beautiful, fluffy, and this is years old. This thing, and the tail is still quite lovely.
Oh, it's still flatty. Well, you're years old. You're years old, and your tail is quite lovely.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for noticing, and thanks for telling everybody on the show that I've got a lovely tail.
Well,
I take good care of it. Getting it some nice bicycle shorts because, man, we went on I think it was longer than 19 miles yesterday, but oh my God, I don't have the bicycle shorts yet, and I keep on going out with these people who are completely kitted up with all the stuff, and oh my God, well, by the time I get home, it's not just my bottom. I mean, that's the least of my problems. I've got no more energy. I'm just, I mean...
You were tired after the bike ride yesterday.
Yeah, and I can go out surfing for a couple of hours. It must just be that I'm using different things. And it's also, it's a pace. It's there's no letting up. Whereas when you're surfing, you paddle out, wait.
It's a constant energy output. And Arthi, who's the leader of the Sunday Coffee, that's her taking it easy. She just goes constantly all the time. So,
who?
Arthi. That's how she rides.
Yeah, she's
I had a little break on
goes...
yesterday's bike ride because I got a flat tire. I rode over some glass, punctured my tire, and I got a lot of talking to afterwards about that's why you need to take a tire flat repair kit. And I had an inner tube. I didn't bring it along, and I got the rim thing to break the bead, but I didn't bring it along, and I didn't bring the pump, and I got the flat tire, and it was probably still 8 miles back to the house from where I got the flat, and I was just going to call a friend and have him pick me up in his truck, or have Lady Jerry drive home while I just sat and had a coffee or kept walking. But one of the other people who owns her own bike shop, because I was thinking I'll get someone to pick me up, take it to their bike shop, she just did a phone Google and found a bike shop.
Acted it out for you. She did a phone.
that's a phone Google.
Yeah. Oh, look, I found a bicycle store. It's a 5-minute drive and a 15-minute walk. I mean, you had your bike repaired and fixed probably better than a roadside, CPR on the tire. I mean, it was a good job.
I would have been able to probably do it, but it was a 15-minute walk and then 15 minutes to change the tire, and then I was back on the road. $20. Well worth it. I mean, I don't know what an inner tube costs, but it's got to be 8 at least, if not 10 or 12, and then my time is worth $10 easily.
Oh, I think you got the best end of the deal.
It was great. I'm very happy with my solution of just you walk to the closest bike shop, even if you have to walk home and put the bike in the car and drive it to a bike shop, at least for the length of ride that we're taking. If I had to walk home 10 miles, that would have been a challenge, but I could have done it.
Yeah, because that's the kind of guy you are, man. You just, get down to it. And the two ladies who are pretty bicycle expertise, they said, no, take it to the shop. Don't us do it on the side of the road. That's not going to be the best idea. So,
boy, Dave has got a good suggestion. And by the way, he's wearing those pants.
How are you liking them, Dave?
He loves them. He says, cut the old tube down the center and put your new tube inside of it to help prevent the fragility. That's a good idea. Old school BMX trick, yo.
Oh yeah, look at that, yo, Dave.
Next time I'm doing
that. Come on, I'm gonna get an old tube down the center and put that my new tube. I don't know that I am. I mean,
well, let's wait till you get a puncture.
Yeah.
So Andrew's saying, Jake, you got a little emotional earlier about Jim Neighbors, which I did. I lost a friend from when I was in my 20s. He was my roommate, and passed away. He was gay and closeted for, it was tough for him to come out, and he passed away from AIDS. And I always think of him when I'm talking about anybody who's closeted and suffering like that, or imaginary suffering. I don't know what Jim Neighbor's life was really like. But you asked me if I cried when my daughter was born. Oh, God. Well, let me just ask you, Andrew, what do you think? Of course I cried. I cried when I went in to have the ultrasound and they'd show you the little blinking dot of the baby's heart. It's like a sci-fi. You're looking at this black screen with this little blinking heart. It's like this little star on the other side of the universe that's coming to you with a baby riding it. I mean, it was just, I started crying when I saw that little blinking heart, that was going to be my daughter. I cried then. When the baby was born, can I tell this story, Jerry?
Wah, wah, wah.
It's weird that you're making fun of me because I think you love the fact that I have a
did
hormone
it seem like I was making fun of him, or I was like,
wah, wah, wah. Does that?
Well, I didn't quite do that face. No, it was complete. No, this guy cries all the time. I mean, though I have to admit, James, my brother James, just sent some wedding photos of he and Kelly and their daughter Ailish, and they were in, I think they got married in Tonga because they weren't into having a big stand up in front of everyone, and I got weepy looking at those this morning because it was very sweet and they looked so happy.
Pick is saying Jim Neighbors lived in Hawaii. I think she thinks he was pretty happy. I do too. I do too, Pick. I just to have to have that big part of who you love and that part of your life to be kept secret seemed challenging. But so when
you're going to tell the story of how much you cried.
When our daughter was born, it was a scheduled cesarean, and so we're in there, and they make me sit up by Lady Jerry's head, and they want you to sit down because they're afraid you're going to pass out and smash your head on the floor, and they've got better things to do than take
mop
care
up
of your
blood.
wound. And so every time I tried to sit up, they would tell me to stand up. They'd say, sit back down. And so they do the little cut, and it's like someone throws a glass of water out of your wife. It's like splash. They break the water, and then they take the baby out. It's my daughter, and the doctor is saying, tell her what it is. Tell her for me to tell tell Lady Jerry what it is. It's a girl.
Baby.
And the doctor's going, tell her what it is. And I'm so emotional. I'm like half crying. I go, it's a baby. And the doctor goes, no, it's a girl. Tell her it's a girl. She's got a daughter.
Because we were having a surprise.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
He completely forgot his line, even though he was being given a visual cue.
It's a girl. I was just like, tell her what it is. I'm like, it's a baby.
And it's so weird, because I mean, I had to have a C-section because of other stuff that had happened to me beforehand, which I won't go into detail about. But it's a weird way to have a, I suppose all of it's weird and a hard way to have a baby. I saw your thing, Jen. It took you 2 weeks to bond, and then who said it took him till
and
he
then
was
wham,
60?
it just took over.
Yeah.
She says she doesn't really cry. She's either fine or she's weeping uncontrollably.
Well, weeping uncontrollably is crying.
Jeff is also a weeper, so that's nice to have a fellow. Weepers unite.
I think you've got to cry because that's one of your emotional outlets, is to
Dave still says he still hasn't bonded with his son, and he's 16 now.
Yeah, Dave. I think that.
It gets a bit tricky, but he'll be.
I
He'll
bet
be
you've
around.
had moments, Dave. I bet you had moments. If you're about to marry those new pants of yours, I bet you've had some moments when you've bonded with your son.
Wait till he sees you in those trousers. So he must have seen you in those trousers already.
Yeah. Rachel, it's a baby. Did you go to medical school for that? Because they're wanting to know. They couldn't see right away.
Yeah.
It is funny. Oh, when I had my daughter, the OB couldn't see right away, so he said, it's a baby. And we were like, thanks, did you go to medical school for that? I said that already, but then I said it in more context.
Clarified it. It was a bit confusing.
I said it in context because I know that I'm not so good with the comments. I just like to, I'm a little bit off the cuff, and I just blurt out the bits that I see. That's sort of how I am in real life, off the cuff, and just blurt out the obvious, right? Isn't that, that would sum up Lady Jerry, Oh, from time to time. Oh, and what am I like the rest of the time? What am I like? What am I like?
Well, you're not crying. You've got a bit of a mean side to you.
Is that the time to talk about that?
It's a joke. It's a joke, Jerry.
Oh. Oh, all right.
But way to display your sweet side.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, how.
Bob says he
says
used to
that
get.
my sense of humor is weird, and I can't tell a joke. But I don't know, man. Sometimes I. Yeah.
Bob said,
All this training, it's not going anywhere.
let me know when you're ready.
Okay, go.
Bob said he used to get teary-eyed when voted people off the Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
Missed that show.
Well, yes.
I used to. He loved eating cookies and watching fat people sweat. Bob, I used to love eating donuts and having my morning coffee while I was watching the Richard Simmons exercise show. That was fun for me. So I get it.
Dave's son does not like the trousers.
Yeah.
We should
Well,
ask
that's how
our
it goes.
16-year-old daughter if she likes them.
Oh. Andrew, yes, you get emotional watching other people's dreams come true, like somebody winning a gold medal at the Olympics. Yeah, it is stirring to watch someone have a personal triumph like that. Is pretty great. And in jiu-jitsu, every year they'll have the kind of awards ceremony, sort of, where everyone at the academy, at any given class, there'll be, 10, 20 people there. But then everyone shows up for the awards kind of ceremony, and sometimes they'll have a little snacky banquet, parking lot barbecue afterwards.
Tailgating?
And your friends get called up, and they get either stripes on their belt or a new belt, and so it's very satisfying. And I did get quite emotional when my friend Frank got his blue belt, which was before I got my blue belt. It just was. I was so happy for him, and it was so great to see him get up, and great to see how much everybody else applauded and was excited about him having that personal achievement. It was great. He says certain songs remind him of their son Sid. Every time he hears them, they cry. Yeah, that song "All I Want for Christmas Is You," that was on this baby playlist that I had the Christmas before Fanula was born. Every time I hear Mariah Carey with that "All I Want for Christmas Is You," tears the bottom right out of me. It's your husband's birthday today, so you're not crying, Jen. Well, good for you. Is that your gift to him? You're not crying?
And Jen says she's off the cuff and blurty as well. Well, thank you, Jen, fellow blurty off the cuff spirit.
I wouldn't have you.
I knew one.
I wouldn't have you anywhere.
Look, I just have to go back because I'm just slightly concerned about what you said, Keys, about your son. Your son Sid is still with us, is what I'm hoping, because you say remind me of our son Sid, and every time I hear them I cry. So I'm hoping that you mean he's still here.
Yeah, the songs, that's in the past tense, because he hears the songs and they remind him.
Yeah,
he's not hearing a song now,
yeah,
and he's not hearing a song in the future. But yes, hopefully Keys' son is.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
Hopefully this isn't us finding out about Keys has lost his son.
Yeah, because
Boy, thank you for bringing it up. It's already a tough Monday, Jerry.
No, I'm sorry, guys, but I just, because put my heart in my mouth for a little minute. I'm blurty, I say things off the cuff, and then I, who knows? And then I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure, Keys, I'm just making sure.
Pick says you guys look more than usually beautiful today.
Enough, but I've got possum and merino socks on. Those are very warm. You put those on your tootsies and you are ready to go. But then I've also got, I've got a wool skirt. I mean, I've really gone for it. I jumped into wool. Everything is wool except my undies.
Jen cries at terms of endearment and steel magnolias. Those are two tearjerkers. Brad, you cried last night when the Packers lost. My dad probably cried with you. I think he was really heartbroken about that.
Yeah. Are we frozen? Someone's saying we've tripped the internet.
Oh yeah, I heard the internet kind of locked up for a minute. But luckily, we're at the end of today's show, and we're ready for tomorrow's show. I still have remaining unread letters from Grandma. Not many, but a few, and then we can start over. Of course.
Oh my God. You can let us know if you're up for that or not, don't you think? Or you just because you.
The letters from Grandma, let's face it, are very similar to each other.
Circular,
and the idea that I would be reading one that I read 3 months ago.
And that they would recognize it.
These letters have held the test of time. These letters were written in the 1980s.
They're
know. 30 years old.
I wish that I still had my letters from my grandma because they're the same. They're the exact same. It's like one long sentence, except it's a paragraph, and it's just the segues are unbelievable. Right, give me the fart machine. Well,
There
you're
so
looking-
tomorrow's letter from Grandma. That's going to happen, and then we've got the story of Jacob's return. As you know, Jacob was
Who are
married.
those two having a hug? They look like specters, like they're ghosts or something.
Probably Jacob and his dad, or that's probably Jacob and Esau actually.
All right. Is that a happy? I can't tell if it's a happy picture or a sad
Jacob
picture.
tricked Esau out of his birthright, even though they're twins, so he was born only slightly before him.
Oh.
And then Jacob was tricked in a wedding because he wanted to marry the beautiful daughter. I think her name was Rachel. And Rachel's dad tricked him into marrying the other daughter. Oh God, I'm just trying to see her name. I can't.
Was she lovely or not lovely?
No, she was more plain. But that's Laban, his wife's his mother's brother. He wanted to marry his beautiful cousin, the more beautiful one, but instead he was tricked into marrying the plain one after working 7 years for the right to marry the beautiful one.
I remember that story. God, the Bible, yeah.
But then Laban allowed him to also marry Rachel. So they married. He got 2 wives in one day, but then had to work another 7 years. Anyway, tomorrow is going to be the story of Jacob's return. We'll see how it goes with Esau.
Okay, I just got to answer a few of these. So Andrew wants to know if we've seen Antoine Fisher. Is he the chess player? Is it that movie?
I don't know, but I think I've seen it, but I can't remember it. All right.
Oh, Belinda, I watched your Stargate episode and I'm not going to tell you what he said. Who's he? But it was very compliment. Oh, he being my husband.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I told you that's the one I get. I mean, that was so hilarious,
Your
that
boobs
job.
are really killing it on that show.
Well,
they had them made up and stuffed up, and I mean, it was really. I'm not saying you're not pretty.
Right. Oh, my God. Don't be talking about my girls as if they couldn't do the job on their own. So then the other thing about, well, it's hilarious bondage, but, like alien bondage. And then there was one just before that when Bob says that if we run out of your letters, grandma letters, he can send his mother's letters from the 70s in college, and they're pretty good as well. Hey, thanks for watching that Stargate. If you want to see something really funny, because hospital 14-pounder. But beside from drumming, I'm just regrets. I've had a few. That's the name of the episode. But that's an incarnation of me that you will never see that one again, Jen. That was a once-er, and and it's anyway. That was me.
All right, so someone's recommending the movie Lion. That's another one. Frozen again, froze up. Okay, here we go. So.
Yeah.
All right, so to fight for the right without question or pause, let's keep dreaming the impossible dream till tomorrow. Today's Seize the Day is from Jean-Jacques Machado, revered jiu-jitsu coral belt practitioner. I think he's a coral belt. If you ask me what belt I am today, Jean-Jacques says, I will tell you that I'm a white belt that never gave up. And that
is profound and deep, isn't it?
Well, that's.
I mean,
that's
I know
saying,
those two things mean the same thing, but
well, that's a saying that a black belt is a white belt that never gave up, and that's what's true. I mean, so we all know that. You've got that going for you. So don't give up. We're all going to be black belts by the end of this.
Stargate might be one of the kitschiest bits of acting I ever did. I don't remember watching that and thinking, "Well done, Lady Jerry." But anyway, for your viewing pleasure, guys, for your viewing pleasure.
All right. So it's time to go. Don't give up. There'll be plenty of time to give up.